Well, that was entertaining. As sad as it was to see Finn Balor relinquish his Universal title last week, it meant WWE had their backs against the wall. And let me tell you, if this is WWE with their backs against the wall, then we should start pushing them up against more walls in the future. But based on Scott Carlton's article that you can read over on WhatCulture.com right now, it's this week's Ups and Downs, where we look at Raw, critique Raw, and then work out if we're happy about Raw or if we're sad about Raw. It's like therapy. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and let's get to some upping and some downing. There were no downs on this week's Raw, and even if they were, I don't care about them, because Kevin Owens is the brand new Universal Champion. It's the biggest up since I've been doing Ups and Downs, and it is tremendous. If you had told me beforehand they were going to go with Owens, I wouldn't have believed you. In fact, even now I wouldn't believe you. The most entertaining performer on Raw got his due, and yeah, he's meant to be a heel, but that's still enough to make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. It doesn't even matter how he won it. What matters is that he did win it. So let's all hail the reign of Kevin Owens. Get it? Reign, Roman Reigns. That is funny stuff. You know what else isn't up? How Kevin Owens won the Universal Championship. And I know it was all over the place and a bit out of nowhere, but guess what? It was fun. And that's what I want from my professional wrestling. Fun! I don't think anyone would have called Triple H coming out the crowd and laying out Roman Reigns and then laying out Seth Rollins to help KO win the belt, but he did. And the mini roller coaster he took us on for the few minutes he was in the ring was great. It was crazy from the moment the game turned up, opening up the opportunity for Kevin Owens to win the Universal Championship. And yeah, you can get your grumble face on and be like, oh, it's the Triple H show. But let me tell you, if that's the Triple H show, I will watch the Triple H show. Right, it's time to play that game again. Is Stephanie McMahon a babyface, or is Stephanie McMahon a heel? Get a piece of paper, write your answers down on it, and then don't do anything with it, because this isn't a real competition. Of course, the answer is, who the hell knows? During her promo with Paul Heyman, she played both roles seamlessly. Steph obviously doesn't care what Lesnar did, hence why she only fined him $500, but then she got mad at Heyman because he didn't take it seriously either. Huh? Then she threatens to fire Heyman and says she's the reason for the women's revolution. So in a few minutes, she's played both sides of the coin. If anyone can help me with what's going on here, I'd really appreciate it, because I have absolutely no idea. Down. While we're talking about Stephanie, why did she just forget about Finn Balor on Raw? Twice she said that tonight, the first ever Universal Championship was going to be crowned. Now, I understand you want the match to feel special, but it's just a lie. And lies make me cry. Down. Okay, so Scott thinks the Gallows, Anderson, Dana segment on Raw this week was a down. And that's fair enough. But I have a very specific reason for disagreeing with him, and this is it. Regardless what you think about it, there's a demographic that thinks all that stuff is great. Kids. WWE is a PG product, so some of the stuff is going to be aimed at children. That's just a fact. You can't get away from it. Now, it's easy for us to get on our high horses and just tear Raw to shreds, but what family and friends offspring have told me is that they love all of that stuff. And yeah, Gallows and Anderson using anagrams that spell old fart is ridiculous, because we all want to see the club kick ass. But look, if you're putting smiles on kids' faces, which we know Vince McMahon loves to do, then I think sometimes you've got to give it a pass. So it's an up. So this is one of those weird half and half scenarios where you could give it an up or you could give it a down. I'll leave it up to you to make a decision, but I'm going to give it a down this week, because sometimes it's nice to be a dick. I thought Chris Jericho versus Neville from Raw this week was fantastic. Chris Jericho continues to lay the groundwork as why he could be one of the best professional wrestlers of all time, and Neville continues to show us all how talented he is. Unfortunately, Neville lost. Again. Now, it's not the end of the world, because he tapped out to a spectacular old-fashioned lion tamer. But if he keeps losing, he just becomes a really good loser. It does feel a bit like he's lost in the shuffle at the moment, but he's still having entertaining matches. If WWE can just give him a bit of story and something to work with, everything will be alright. But we've got to see that soon. I'm sure his very warm and mild-mannered appearance on the Steve Austin podcast helped no end. But I quite like Braun Strowman, and I particularly liked what he did on Raw this week. Another squash match, sure, but one specific act ensured it felt utterly different to what he's done before. After kicking the crap out of Luchador Americos, he ripped off his mask, which is incredibly disrespectful, and everybody knew it. It was an asshole move to do anyway, and the crowd booed him for it, and rightfully so. If Strowman can now slowly be worked into a storyline, this could turn out to be really good. Up. I have been a hardened defender of the Titus O'Neil-Darren Young feud. I even ignored O'Neil's promo from last week, even though, that wasn't great. But now, I can't defend it anymore. The match they had on Raw this week did nothing to help anybody get into this feud. It was another fluke win for Darren, and by the end of it, we seemed to be in exactly the same place we were before the thing had even taken place. It really did fall flat, and I like both guys. I really like both guys. But I'm sorry, dudes. It's a down. WWE just let Roman Reigns be Roman Reigns on Raw, and it was the best Roman Reigns we've seen in ages. Sure, during his match later in the evening, he just Superman punched everyone. And I mean he Superman punched everybody. But in the opening segment, he didn't talk. He just went up to Kevin Owens and smacked him straight in the mouth. That's the Roman Reigns I want to see. He doesn't mess around. He doesn't take any nonsense from people. He just goes up to them and starts hurling fists. If they keep treating him like this, people may actually start to like him. Well, no, they won't like Roman Reigns, because that ship sailed a long time ago. But we can only hope, and that's an up. Big Cass did a great job in hanging with Owens, Rollins and Reigns this week. He was used correctly, didn't overstay his welcome, and showed that in the future, he does have serious potential to be a main eventer. Enzo and Cass don't need to be broken up anytime soon. Or ever, really. Just let them be buddies throughout their WWE careers. But when the time is right, if Big Cass is broken off correctly, he could do really well. I quite like him. Up. Finally, the tribute to Mr. Fuji on this week's Raw was very respectful and very well done by WWE. And I always like to see that, so it's an up. To me, that was a damn good episode of Raw. I didn't even mention Sheamus vs Cesaro in match 2 of their Best of 7 series. Now, it's a bit weird that all of a sudden it's for some mystery championship. I have no idea which one, but the injury angle that let Sheamus win was pretty good. So I like that as well. So yeah, bravo WWE. I want to see what's going to happen next week, and I'm tuning into SmackDown later to see what you do with The Miz. You're doing really good at the moment. I'm proud of you. Now go and read what Scott thought about the rest of Raw over on WhatCulture.com, and then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Then you can come follow me on Twitter at SimonMiller316, where we can talk about the dawn of KO-Mania. What a great day. Go and enjoy it.
Do you want to see WCPW live but are allergic to the awful people of Newcastle? WCPW is coming to Greater Manchester on Saturday the 8th of October to the Altrincham Silver Blades Arena. Your ticket won't just get you a stat card featuring Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle, but will also grant you access to our first ever fan convention during the day. Meet the What Culture guys, have photos with your favourite WCPW wrestlers, a host of other surprises, and VIP members will get to meet Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes in person. Tickets can be bought at wc.pw.